I don't think words are really necessary about what's happening right now. But for Anheuser-Busch, Bud Light, all Bud products, if you know me, you know how many of these get refilled in my fridge every week. But today, they go down the drain. And the Coors will be my choice. Hope you're proud, Bud Light.
Yeah.
Hope it pays off for you in the long run. But when you go woke, go broke.
Yes.
Cheers to
yes. When you go woke, you go broke. It's a good one, babe.
you.
What a shame. What a shame.
It really tickles me watching these men pour their Bud Lights down the sink
Bud Light, all Bud products.
or drive over them with their trucks or pew-pewing them with fucking assault rifles. Pew, 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 pew. Think that Anheuser-Busch, with all the research that they do and the millions of dollars that they sink into marketing, didn't calculate and account for you to have a temper tantrum and drop off as customers? They knew exactly what they were doing. They know that Gen Z, as they get older and older, are starting to age into drinking age. They know that Gen Z is far more enlightened and accepting and woke, as you call it. Embrace the LGBTQ plus community. So sacrificing you, no brainer. So Anheuser-Busch and companies like Anheuser-Busch, really, they're just playing the long game by aligning their views with their future customers' views. So it's not really you boycotting them more than it is them being willing to disregard you and leave you behind. Pew-pewing beer cans. What's wrong with you?
All right, guys. So we got to talk about Bud Light once again, as they went silent on social media amid the backlash, the massive backlash that they're getting from the Dylan Mulvaney partnership. Now, if you guys didn't know, Bud Light decided to sponsor Dylan Mulvaney, who's a transgender superstar on TikTok. Now, a whole lot of people got upset about this because Dylan Mulvaney is essentially a political figure. He basically is an embodiment of a far left-wing agenda when it comes to this issue of gender identity and, you know, sexuality or whatever. And a lot of people think that Bud Light sponsoring this person is basically them endorsing what Dylan Mulvaney stands for. And that pissed a lot of people off because they see that as antithetical to their values, right? Bud Light is essentially slapping their core customer base in the face with this sponsorship. Now, again, Bud Light may not be saying anything about this on social media, but again, there's a massive campaign to boycott Bud Light and to make them pay for sponsoring Dylan Mulvaney. Again, Bud Light is not saying anything about this per se. I mean, they did issue a statement basically saying that, well, we hope that sponsoring Dylan Mulvaney helps us reach authentic audiences, or is an authentic way to meet new target audiences. But in the process of doing so, they could actually end up losing some key sales. And there's some people on the ground that are saying that, you know, this might not work out good for Bud Light. Take a look.
I work for an affiliate company. I am a merchandiser, and the sole product of the company I work for is Anheuser-Busch products. So with all this canceling going on, I've never seen such little sales in this past few days on these products. And it's sad because when people don't buy this beer, I don't make money and I can't feed my family. So it's kind of heartbreaking, I guess, that Anheuser-Busch did what they did. They don't know their clientele. So it's kind of heartbreaking. Thanks, Anheuser-Busch. I may not be able to feed my family coming up here soon.
Yeah, so a lot of people asking the question of why would Anheuser-Busch / Bud Light do this? Why would they do this? Why would they risk their core sales, their core audience, in order to sponsor somebody like Dylan Mulvaney? Well, we're in luck. We actually going to get an inside look at what the marketing team at Bud Light was thinking, or what they are thinking in regards to why they're sponsoring people like Dylan Mulvaney. Okay, as there's a video that went viral of Miss Alissa Heinerscheid, Bud Light's VP of marketing, who has pronouns in her bio on LinkedIn, by the way, right? So you guys know what's up with this person. There was an interview that she did just 2 weeks ago on a podcast in which she explains Bud Light and their new marketing strategy and why they're basically moving away from their old customer base to try to reach a new customer base. Take a look.
I'm a businesswoman. I had a really clear job to do when I took over Bud Light. And it was, this brand is in decline. It's been in decline for a really long time. And if we do not attract young drinkers to come and drink this brand, there will be no future for Bud Light. So I had this super clear mandate. It's like, we need to evolve and elevate this incredibly iconic brand. And what I brought to that was a belief in, okay, what does evolve and elevate mean? It means inclusivity. It means shifting the tone. It means having a campaign that's truly inclusive and feels lighter and brighter and different and appeals to women and to men. And representation is at sort of the heart of evolution. You've got to see people who reflect you in the work. And we had this hangover. I mean, Bud Light had been kind of a brand of fratty, kind of out of touch humor. And it was really important that we had another approach.
Yeah, so you heard that, okay? Basically what she's saying is that, well, we don't really like our old customers anymore, okay? We don't like that. Our sales are declining. They're not buying as much product anymore. And we're trying to reach new audiences, right? And that is probably the reason why you're seeing Bud Light go so woke. Even though, I mean, they've always been kind of woke, okay, for the past few years. They're going extra woke, and they've jumped on the Dylan Mulvaney train, which basically every brand in America has jumped on that train as well, too. And again, I think that's part of what's going on here, right? However, I think that this person is wrong in the sense that I'm not sure if you should sacrifice your core customer base, okay, the people who have made your brand what it is, your bread and butter base, to sponsor somebody and hope that you can reach new audiences, okay? I get the argument that the younger generation is becoming of, drinking age, and that they're going to start consuming beers, and you want to be a brand that can appeal to them. But again, I think there's a way to do that without going overtly political and alienating the rest of your consumer base, right? To me, I think a lot of people see this as disrespect. They see this as a sign that Bud Light's values are not in line with their values, and they will be 100% correct to believe that. Now, something else I want to talk about here, it's something that Matt Walsh brought up on Twitter about these boycotts, okay, and why these boycotts, are not as effective as they should be, okay? Because I brought this up in the last video. I quickly mentioned it. I was like, when the woke go after a brand, it seems like things get done, right? Things happen real quick. The woke companies seem to respond more to the woke than they do to conservatives. When conservatives get upset, it seems like they kind of double down, right? Like Disney has doubled down, right? Instead of actually moving in a direction that we feel like they should move in, okay? And I think Matt Walsh's point that he brought up on Twitter was correct about how you have to basically make an example out of one company, right? You have to hurt a company and their brand so bad that whatever hurt their brand, okay, whether that be a sponsorship or them taking some type of political viewpoint, is instantly labeled as toxic, right? So toxic that other companies are going to see that and say, you know what, we don't want to be a part of that, right? In this case right here, the person that is being sponsored that people are upset with is Dylan Mulvaney, right? So if people got problems with, these companies getting on board with this woke agenda and, sponsoring, wokeness, right? A far left, radical ideology that is destroying this country, then basically, you have to punish them for it. But you have to make an example out of one company, right? You have to hurt one company so bad, right, that other companies are going to see that and say, we don't want that to happen to us. So therefore, we're not going to associate ourselves with whatever caused that to happen. And I agree with that. I 100% agree with him on that, because I think sometimes, when it comes to the culture war, it's so much of it, right? All of these companies are woke as hell. And, we focused on one company for a while, like, a couple weeks ago was Hershey, right? It was Hershey. Everybody's moved on past Hershey, and there's Bud Light. I mean, in a couple weeks, everybody gonna move on past Bud Light. They'll go back to buying Bud Light. Again, what effectively happened? Nothing happened, right? Again, when you see with the far left woke revolutionaries, when they get pissed, they stay pissed for weeks on end, months on end, right? How long did we cover the Dave Chappelle Netflix transgender issue, right? I mean, those people protested for literally months on end, okay? They never stopped, right? And with Bud Light, this is easy because there are alternatives that people can easily switch to, and you're not going to have too much of a drop off in product quality, right? It's not like, Bud Light is some specially made craft beer or something like that. No, okay, it's not that unique. You can easily find alternatives, right? So I think that a boycott against Bud Light could work, but there has to be a sustained focus on it, and it can't be something that we're just done with in the next couple of weeks when the next company goes woke. I mean, all these companies are woke, right? So you got to focus on one, okay? Make a point out of it, okay? Hurt them in the pocket so bad that essentially they get the picture, and other brands and companies figure out, hey, you know what? Maybe this whole movement of trying to disrespect and disregard our old customers just because they're older while trying to target new customers, maybe that's not going to work, okay? Because Bud Light is not the only brand that's thinking this way, right? That is like the main reason all of corporate America is going woke. People say, well, why are all these companies going woke? Well, it's the same reason why Bud Light is going woke, is that they quite literally know that the greatest transfer in wealth is about to happen, okay? With the baby boomer generation, getting older, okay, passing away, what happens to that money? Well, that money is transferred to the younger generation, and the younger generation consume more, right? They get that money. And again, the greatest wealth transfer ever is about to happen. That's a well-known fact in the financial services industry, okay? Older people that have the money, dying out, younger people are getting that money, and these brands are hopping on that. They're jumping on that because they know that, okay, these are the consumers of tomorrow. So Bud Light, like a lot of these other companies, they are trying to get ahead of the game and say, hey, we were woke, right? We was on board with this, okay, back in, 2020 or whatever. Okay, and that's what they do. Okay, this is just what these brands do. But in order to stop these companies from doing this, you have to prove that no, the older generation still has money, right? They're still a value consumer, and you have to respect their viewpoints. You have to respect their values, especially again if these companies are going to be overtly political and they're going to give out overt political sponsorships. Then yeah, you need to respect our values, right? If you want our business and our money. So again, it's not just Bud Light that's thinking this way. A lot of companies are thinking this way. And I think what Matt Walsh is saying and what he's advocating for is probably the right thing to do if you want to see any type of real change here, which is to show them that, hey, you know what? We're not okay with the blatant disrespect for our values. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.